Okay, we are live, people. Awesome. Okay, I was just checking here on LinkedIn. Hello, everybody. This is such an exciting week for me, and I'm so happy you're joining me here. I'm Sudha Jamthe, and this is SudhaLive. And I'm here from Silicon Valley, end of day, my Friday. So thank you, everybody, for wrapping up the week with me, especially for those of you who are, further ahead in time zones than me or waking up in Asia and other places on your Saturday. I appreciate this time. Okay. So I'm a technology futurist, so I have a pulse on the latest, greatest in tech. And this week was amazing. I've been tracking and teaching generative AI and LLMs. In fact, my morning today, right, which is evening in Europe, um, I taught about generative AI, and how to prototype for AI for a group of entrepreneurial designers who are learning masters in AI at Elisava School of Design and Engineering in Barcelona. So it's remote. I met them in person and did a bunch of classes, and then now I'm doing this remote 4 hour classes. So we had two of those this week, and it was amazing discussion. And I was doing the basic stuff, right, teaching them AI, how the AI life cycle, and I focus a lot on building AI, and I use a lot of no code AI tool. And I was joined by Yashashwini Vishwanath, who's an engineer and AI researcher who taught them with Python notebook. Let's get started. And she said, you cannot learn the latest in generative AI without learning foundations of actually building machine learning and scikit-learn. So it was a very interesting mix for the students. I think it was a very intense class. But I was thinking, okay, we've been doing this, so 4 hours of class, so it's 8 hours of class, so that's a lot of content. And I'm catching up through the week, right? I'm always looking for what is happening so that I can bring it to you on Fridays. So many launches, it's unbelievable. So many launches, I'm not kidding. Usually, like when I was teaching I also teach Stanford Continuing Studies. I teach AI boot camp for product and business managers. And last April, when I was doing my spring class, everything was like ablaze, right? ChatGPT had launched in November previous year, so there was a lot of stuff happening with GPT-4 had not yet come, and there was this thing of Microsoft and Google competing with each other. Bard had launched at that time, Palm had launched, then the Lambda. Now they have Gemini from Google. But that time, something was happening each week. So there seemed to have been a lull. So I remember I did the holiday learning plan with you all last couple of weeks. It was more like what happened at CES and things like that. And this week again, there's like a lot of stuff happening in the generative AI world. So usually this hour I bring you the latest in AI very quickly. And then I'm going to bring AI opportunities in the form of events, jobs, call for papers, any opportunity, so that it's for you, the learner, to do something. So I have like a learning plan saying, pick one course that you want to learn. Don't get too crazy signing up for many courses and then feel bad that you are busy, because you're all busy. If life happens, your work might be busy, whatever else, right? So do something. And for those of you who can't even do the course, don't worry. You have AI all around you all the time. So just pick one AI and then look at it, play with it critically. It's on your phone, it shows up on LinkedIn. When you do a post, it gives an option saying rewrite this post, rewrite with AI. You open a doc, I use Google Doc, and it's offering to write everything for me. I'm an author, I write books, I like my own writing. And but it's all integration of generative AI. So Amazon has had generative AI integrated in their summaries of reviews, which is pretty good. And this week they launched something called Rufus, name of a dog. And it is a generative AI chatbot which is trained using their all their product, like entire catalog and everything. And I had an opportunity to chat with an Apple chatbot because I was trying to buy a Mac. and it was a good experience. I usually have not had very great experience with chatbots. So the intelligent chatbot, which came from ChatGPT, and enterprise trying to do that with their own content is the hot thing, and the technology behind it is called RAG, retrieval augmented generation. And we have done at Weekly Wednesday, where my students come together on a speaker series. We've done one session on RAG. I think we are going to see a lot more on RAG from me and my student community. So one of the big projects that I'm very excited that I'm working on is a new course on generative AI using no code for business audience. And I can't tell you when, where, what will happen, but I'm working on it. And I work with LinkedIn Learning, so it will show up on LinkedIn Learning when I'm actually going recording. That recording studio, the LinkedIn office is there with all the studios where they do the production. So serene and beautiful, beautiful mountains around it, and it's beautiful. So I will definitely bring some pictures or video or something. I'll share that from there when it's happening. But after that, they do post production, everything. They do such a fantastic job. They take everything that we produce and make it like a whole Netflix movie. So you must have seen it in my LinkedIn learning courses already. You go to LinkedIn Learning, look for my name, and there are two of the courses on no code AI, one with IoT, one general no code AI, to learn artificial intelligence. And my courses are always about for no code, with no code, for product and business managers, the non-coding audience of various different jobs. But you will get exercises from me. I want you to go hands on. That's why the best way you can learn is by looking at any AI that pops up around you and poke it, play with it, try to break it. Okay, play with it, right? And then try to see what would you do if you were, based on your job role, whatever your vocation is, if you were actually the person who was a product manager, you'll say, how would I design this product? If you are building this, how would I do this? If you're a UX designer, you say, how would I design this interface? If you're a BD person and does business development, you say, if this is what this company has, what would I do with this? What data are they collecting? If you're into AI ethics, obviously you'll find a lot of things showing up. So there's a lot of things you can do. Just and so my recommendation, if you're busy, is as you see generative AI popping up in all the different places, integration into all the different tools and technologies that you're using on a daily basis, try to pause, take 5 minutes, play with it, and then have an informed opinion about, just start forming an opinion saying this doesn't look good, this looks good. If you have the time, keep a running Google Doc or notes on your phone or something, and write your notes. I do that when I start learning any new area. I start collecting notes. At the end of the day, I would like to reach a point where I don't know something, instead of saying, oh my god, everybody's talking about RAG and everybody's talking about this new thing. When I keep doing this, I say, okay, what is this new thing? Okay, I thought I knew this stuff and this is new, and I would like to, or I would like to write that down. And long ago, when I was not on the phone all the time, I literally kept a notebook many decades back, saying, now I know what I don't know. So I kind of still have that habit. And I like the end of the day to reach a limit where I feel like this is something new. So it's very exciting for me that, I am like so ignorant at the end of the day about something. So now I have something to learn for tomorrow. I may never get to the topic tomorrow, but I feel so great. I like at least identified. I'm not an idiot that doesn't know what is out there in the world. I know that I don't know this one thing and I'm going to learn it. So I feel like I have a sense of structure to that. And then you might keep seeing the same terminology or the same kind of approach or something pop up, and you say, why is everybody doing this? And you start figuring out the pattern. I tell my students, even if you take courses and you learn something, if you are not if you don't talk the talk the way that industry speaks, they won't listen to you, they won't believe you, they won't give you a job. And I remember with IoT, when I started writing my books on IoT, I would go to meetups and sit and build IoT, because I wanted to know the nitty gritties of actually IoT as as a device, and the sensors, and the challenges and whatnot. And but I wouldn't talk like them, right? I came from working in eBay. I used to head mobile analytics, so I was kind of, a software person, a data person, and my approach was very different. And then the more I started doing more of this, just so I immerse myself with people who are doing this, and how they're thinking about the bomb cost of the device, and how they burn things into into a chip. And I had to kind of, think about the language for it, and I would go practice it with people who do that. And it is like an AI now. We have this thing that you build AI, and if the AI interacts with the human, and if the human doesn't know uh, that it's an AI, that's the ultimate test, right? So I was doing that. Like to do that. So I think you should. This is my suggestion. If you want, you can practice, go that route, or at least write. If you don't want to write that down, at least you will see the repeat pattern. At least play with an AI daily is kind of my advice. So this month is Black History Month, and most of the AI that you're interacting with, the large language models, ChatGPT and Perplexity and everything else built out there from the internet, is pretty racist, and it does not have Black history included in it. So there is a new AI LLM called Latimer. I'm going to share my screen and show it to you. Happy Black History Month. And I was talking to somebody because on the 1st of Feb, there was a James Baldwin picked image in the Google, right? That they have the doodle. It was James Baldwin, and you click and you say he was an author and a civil rights activist. And I talked to people around me. They kind of had heard his name, but we're not sure. Sometimes it happens when you don't know things confidently, you choose not to talk about it, and you kind of erase that. That's so sad, that's so horrible. And but we all do that. So I found a lot of people were doing that, and I was like, I can't even explain nicely who I think is James Baldwin, and why he's the first person that Google has put on their doodle on Black History Month. And there is the Latimer, which is trained pure with Black history, so it is not biased, and it will tell you. So I just thought I will show you. Oh, I did not think I had this many windows open, guys. I'm on a Chrome, so it is very not easy to switch windows. But I'm going to get back to my Mac soon, so I won't be doing this. Okay, here I am. Latimer. So I'm on a free plan. You get waitlisted. It's a beautifully done large language model. So I am going to say happy Black History Month. The Black History Month is in Feb. I'm saying Black History Month. If there's anything specific you would like to learn about or discuss related to Black history and culture, feel free to ask. And I'm going to say, who is James Baldwin? Now I can intelligently tell you who's James Baldwin after I'm educated by Latimer. Thank you, Latimer. So I actually think if you go talk to ChatGPT, you're not going to get as accurate an answer. A prominent African American writer and activist known for his powerful essays. That's what I knew. He was an author, novelist that explored themes of race, sexuality, and identity. One of his most famous works is the book The Fire Next Time, which was published in 1963. His writing was influenced in addressing social and political issues. So when I went to Google, though Google put that doodle, I went into some kind of videos, and I believe there is a Netflix series on him. Uh, so I got the little clips of that show up and stuff. So I saw bits and pieces. It didn't do justice uh, to his eloquence, insights, and relevance to issues of race and social justice. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get the fire next time. I want to know, why is February why is Black History Month Black History celebrated? History Month celebrated in Feb. I always wondered. I wanted to know every time it will show up in Feb, and I would see the doodles. I will see more content showing up, and never knew why. to coincide with the births of two notable figures in African American history, Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. I knew Frederick Douglass was born in Feb, but I didn't know when. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. We know that. Frederick Douglass, abortionist and writer, was born in Feb. Okay, awesome. I'm going to go back and learn more, but that is Latimer, and you can get access and you can talk about anything like you're with any chatbot. But this is a chatbot which is also got trained on Black history, so it will give you more useful information. And um, there was one amazing piece of art that showed up. Let me find out. Do I have that here? Oh God, I wish I had it here. I thought I had it here, guys. Okay, let me see. I thought I had that window open. This is a piece of art. So, for those of you joining on LinkedIn, thank you for joining me. Introduce yourself, say hello, ask a question. The only thing is, whenever you type something in the chat, I will see a notification, and I will have to refresh my screen and then I'll be able to talk to you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the interesting launches that happened this week. But it was like a spectrum. It was not just new product. You'll know what I'm talking about in just a minute. I'm going to find it for you. I had it here. Um, so, okay, let me just do this in whatever sequence I am able to find it here. It's all right. I don't want to spend time searching. Okay, so one of the things, so I've been working with Global South in AI affinity groups, part of New IPS conference, and had called for papers. So you've seen me towards the end of the year. We had the call, and then we would have new researchers that we train and bring them to new rips. So you will see a lot of language AI related work from Global South. So you've seen that from me. And now in Feb, there is a new one. So we had two different posters presented last year and this year about English, which is Hindi plus English spoken by 350 million people. And it was interesting to see that there is a whole new LLM, which is nicely fine tuned. Let I just have to show you without talking about it because I'm so tempted, but you have to see the beautiful graphics and what the name means. Just a minute. Yes, this is the one. Everything is a LinkedIn post. It shows up just as LinkedIn post without the title. So this is the one. It is called Gajendra. That's the name of the elephant god Ganpati from Hinduism in India. And here they have found they built a very it's a beautifully done graphic. So I wanted to show you that. And they have built basically a 7 billion Hindi English instruction fine tuned language model. What does that mean? So basically, they have built a model, and it is done by uh, Sarvam AI and AI for Bharat. AI for Bharat has been working on 16 different Indian languages to create the transliterations and all the technology needed to make that happen. So they have the data set here, they have the model here. Let me see. So it is done by Mistral Translation Classify. We've been hearing about Mistral 7B. I talked to you about it last session. I've been talking to my classes. If you're one of the students coming in from there. So this Baba AI has done this, and it's built on Mistral. I did not know it was built on Mistral. So that is interesting. And they have the data set and everything else. So I'm going to poke around, play with this, and then I'm going to see whether I can bring something of that to you. They had a lot of conversations. So 350 million people speak a combination of Hindi and English. There's a lot of English combination with Singaporean called Singlish. Um, there's a bunch of that in various different global South countries, especially, right? And English is basically Hindi, but it is typed in Latin script, like English script. And so it's very common to see in chats where a Hindi speaking person will speak Hindi, but they are typing it using English script instead of the Hindi script. And so that's called Hinglish. And so they've included Hindi language plus the English, which is the natural colloquial way that normally people would speak. And so they had, and one of the example I saw was somebody was saying in Hindi, saying, "Oh, Are, I'm feeling sick, and I need to write a letter to tell my boss that I'm not coming in English." And the to the chatbot, and it is replying back, and it generates the whole beautiful formal English letter to send to your boss. So this was like a very classic example. There was a bunch of it, but I'm going to play with it and I will bring it to you. If you are somebody who has been working with this team, I would love to invite you, instead of me exploring and talking about this. I see. Um, Let me see. I see Abhinaya Mahendran. She had come to Weekly Wed, our Wednesday speaker series, and spoken to us about her work in um, Tamil language. So I saw this actually originally shared by Abhinaya. So I'm going to check, maybe Abhinaya can come and talk to us about this. If she's been involved in building this, or knows the team working on it, I would like to invite her. So let's see. The other news this week was Amazon has launched a new chatbot called Rufus. And that is something that I am excited about, but I do not. I mentioned that when we got started, but I'm not able to show that to you because I didn't get access. And they said that they've launched it. Looks like it's a beta, and they're scaling it little by little. So they said select users of Amazon app will have access. I don't have it in my Amazon app, so too bad. I'm not able to show it to you. But what is exciting about that, and I was telling you, I chatted with the Apple also on the chatbot, but this one is done using RAG. So RAG is the latest technology by which you can take a large language model, build your own chatbot like chat GPT, like chatbot, but using your own data set. And so we spoke about this again, as I mentioned in the beginning. We have done one session on it, so I've seen a lot of excitement about that. But the technology futurist in me has my antenna go up, because there is some things, sometimes there's like, new things being launched, and there's an excitement, and people are just like, this is the greatest thing, and thank you team, and they'll put it out there. It might not be great, and it might fizzle out, we might not see them, and everything is going to be launched like that. But then, and with RAG, the technology is actually solving a problem for enterprise, because they don't want their data to be compromised by putting it somewhere out on a public cloud to build a chatbot, right? So that is one fundamental reason why it's a useful technology. But what I'm seeing is, when you say enterprise data is not structured and sitting in one database. There's tons of different data. Think of all the information that your company has, and all of it is sitting in documents, in databases, in emails, in so many different places. It's siloed across different groups. And so to say I'm going to get the entire content and knowledge base of my company is not a joke. So what, I go back to my favorite place of data, everything goes back to data. So getting the data, clean data, data with veracity, that is, you have permission to use it and all that good stuff, and then it has to be accessible in a structured way. A whole lot of data engineering I'm talking about here, to get to that place where you can now make it talk to an AI. So people are running into a lot of issues. I just heard from somebody who was talking to me about doing something similar to what Amazon would have done in their roof and the back end of their Rufus data set. They not data set, their chatbot, which is, they basically said, oh, I'm building a RAG to develop recommendations, and they were specifically using book recommendation. And they were running into some challenges, and I didn't get to follow up. They were using LangChain, but I didn't get to follow up to see what the issues was, which I'm interested in doing. So if you're working on RAG in any form, I would love to talk to you, especially given my book is on generative AI. The way the intelligent chatbot is done today is some kind of API call. There's a lot of, in my research, I'm finding a lot of chatbot building tools, but they are basically a call to OpenAI on the back end and a front end dumbed down version of building a chatbot, which is like, okay, you want a customer service chatbot, let's do it. If you want, like I've shown you this where you can talk to my book, and so in inputting one PDF document and then chatting from that. I would not call it, I mean, I wouldn't call it dumb. The work is not dumb. The interface is so dumbed down that it looks like it doesn't have capabilities to expand for multiple use cases. So it looks like it's very verticalized or very point use cases that is in early stages of experimentation people are putting out there. But I need something more. If I'm going to put this in my course for my audience who are business leaders, who are node users, and they are going to use this, I'm not going to tread on something so lightly. And I'm not going to say, oh, that is done using code, so we cannot touch it. That's not okay with me. I want them to be able to learn everything that they need to learn in this world of generative AI, and be able to do things, that everything that is possible, that can be done in enterprise for real ROI and innovation, and getting a taste of what is possible with the newest technology in generative AI, so there can't be any gaps. So I'm hearing a lot of stuff on RAG. I have picked one particular use case that I want to build out, and I will be using that. But I want to see if you have something that you are working with RAG, if you have a technology, if you have a use case, if you run into some issues. I want to hear from you, because I'm seeing RAG as something that is not just for my current course, but I'm seeing that could be one of the components of this whole ecosystem, with a lot of technologies and innovation that can take us somewhere. Because people ask me, how is this all going to settle down? We are not going to settle down anytime soon. We are in a very nice innovation phase. It's going to take a long time. So those of you who want to come in to learn, just jump in. It doesn't matter. There's plenty of time. But there are different pieces of it where there could be potential to innovate and build new startups and build new technologies, bring that to your enterprise to try and experiment. And this looks like one of it. RAG seems like one of that's going to scale with a whole ecosystem around it. There's a lot of funding going in on from startups building around RAG. Earlier there were vector databases, and a whole bunch of companies got funded on that. Like that, I'm seeing a bunch around that. And I would like to know what it is. I would like to see where the gaps are. I would like to see if you're working on it. I would like to see whether I can use it, whether I can recommend it. Just talk to me. Okay. So I showed you that. Oh, I did find the beautiful, 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 beautiful link that I said I wish I had saved it, and it is here. I do have it. So I told you about this Baba AI launched the Hindi data set and LLM model. Um, my LinkedIn learning course. We spoke about James Baldwin and Latimer. This is what in Pesaro, Italy. I think I have a window. I'm going to open a new window just to be on the safe side. Yes, 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 yes. It's unbelievable. It is AI art. I am not one who talks about AI art, but this is an innovative AI data sculpture. And this is marketing, right? But they're saying it's a human cell atlas AI data painting. And this is in Pesaro, Italy. Now I had to go do a Google map to see where is Pesaro, and I would like to visit Pesaro. I already went to Italy last year, and I was very gaga about going back. I love it, and this is another reason. Okay, let me share my screen so you can see this. I want to share it at the right place so that you're seeing it in the, at the start where I want you to see. That's why. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Pesaro. Okay, not the YouTube link. I think this is the right link, guys. Okay, so this is the one. It was shared by this design agency. Okay, so basically what they have done is they've taken it's a human cell atlas AI data painting. It is transforming into a living data installation through the technique of projection mapping. Okay, so what they're saying is, It's a visual representation of RNA sequence data. Let me highlight that. It's a visual representation of RNA sequence data crafted through advanced techniques like pre-processing, normalization, multidimensional analysis, autoencoders, blah, 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 and a lot of algorithms. So this is what it is. I want to show you from the beginning. Let me go here. I think it must have been amazing to see this for real. They launched it for 4,000 people. I'm going to. This is amazing, guys. It's just amazing. And it is with RNA data. It's just with RNA data, entire RNA data that's like representing the world. Isn't that beautiful? That's just mind blowing. I just love it. Okay, Aisha Tukorape is an artist and a Peace Technology is one of my students. I've shared some of her digital artwork. So, Aisha, to hope you're watching this. Okay, so I told you about the Amazon Rufus Gen AI expert shopping chatbot. If you have access to it and I don't have, so please share with me if you have an opinion using this Gen AI Rufus chatbot. Tell me what the experience is. I'm dying to get my hands on it. The other thing that happened is there is a concept, like, you know how they are saying that there is fake images, fake audio. And last week I told you that there was a fake voice of U.S. President Biden, and it was fake. Don't even want to repeat it. And so now they've added watermarking in audio. That's a new technology that got launched this week, so that's interesting. And I was trying to show this to my students, saying you can talk to an AI. Okay, I see more people showing up on LinkedIn. Please say who you are, or introduce yourself, ask a question, comment, do something, because I'd like to know who you are, or at least have a conversation or make this more useful for you. So otherwise, I would know who you are. And if you're liking what I'm showing, then maybe you can do a thumbs up. Or I was talking about, if you work on RAG related stuff or know anybody working on it, I want to know that for my upcoming Gen AI no code AI course for business leaders. And if you have access to Rufus from Amazon, it's a new chatbot. Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate that. Okay, I see a bunch of thumbs up and claps. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. So if you have access to Rufus, I want it. I want to see it. And I've made promises. Oh my God. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate this. Okay. So the other thing is, in Google search, you can actually ask it to draw. How many of you knew that you can do that? You know how when we talk about LLMs and we say it's multimodal, it can do thank you so much, I appreciate this. I see a lot of hearts and stuff, thumbs up and claps and hearts, so thank you so much, I appreciate that. So the in Google search, there is an option where you can opt in for their the generative AI search experience, and it is in beta, so it's not, in every aspect of it is not in mainstream Google search. And you can then talk to it, right? You can chat with it, it will generate content for you and all that stuff, right? But you can also do a draw with it, and you can say draw a donkey, it will draw a donkey. So to now what happened is Bard has integrated image generation capability. But you remember we had many, almost more than year, this is way before ChatGPT. We were talking about Imagen, was this image diffusion, image generation model that Google had said, hey, we have that in the works. We're not showing it to you yet, and we've never seen it outside. Now they've integrated Imagen. So if I go to Bard, and it's been integrated into Bard, that's one of the news this week. So let me go share my window again, and I'm going to show you a Bard window, bard.google.com. That's a chatbot similar to ChatGPT, powered by Google's Lambda or Gemini models. So I can actually say, I can chat with it like I'm chatting with ChatGPT, ask for stuff, or I'm interested in drawing. So I'm going to say, draw three owls. And it is drawing, doing something, and it says, sure, here are three owls. So for those of you who are in the design, UX design world, while you're searching for something, it is actually saying, sure, here are the three owls. And I'm saying, like, generate more. I want to see more realistic. It's supposed to be photorealistic. That's the beauty of Bard. Okay. So if you are, oh my God, is that a real owl? Is this a real owl? What kind of owl is that? Wow. Okay. Okay, I'm not into owls and I don't know. In fact, long ago, one of my very early roommates, right out of college, loved collecting owls. So, all around the house, in every possible shape and size and tea coasters and everything would be an owl. It's just so funny. Okay. Um, I'm going to say draw a donkey. I'm in a very animal drawing mode today. Okay, draw a donkey. I love donkeys, actually. I hope you draw a good donkey, Bard, because I really like donkeys. I don't have an attachment to owls, but donkeys, yes. Okay, so here is a donkey. Not bad. Not bad. Does this donkey good look good? I think this donkey looks good. Okay, I'm going to generate more donkeys. I would like to see a side view. No, this is a side view. I'm thinking of different angle. This is a picture, but it's all generated. Oh, this donkey is looking great in sunset. Okay, so it's drawing for you. So we were doing, earlier I used to show Scribble Diffusion for my class, or I used to go to Midjourney or something, and now you can just go to bard.google.com, and start doing this. But if you want to do something more intelligent, I would not call it intelligent, more useful, instead of talking to, draw animals looks kind of frivolous, but it's not, it's fun. Maybe it's useful based on what you're asking it to draw. Um, Actually, I had a friend who made one of the image generators generate the cake that she wanted to be designed. And she was a very demanding person. She had a lot of asks. So she did a hell of a lot of prompt engineering to get the cake designed. So can be frivolous. But if you want to do something more useful for your work, then I would say inside Bard, one of the things you can do with Bard is you can actually enter a YouTube URL and ask it to summarize it for you. It will not do that if the URL has a live in it. Like if I go to my YouTube and I find a URL which has the word live, because I do a lot of live stream, it doesn't like it. But if I have the original URL that I'm seeing on the screen, with the, how it says youtube.com/watch question mark, and then it'll have some term. If you do that, it will beautifully summarize it for you. So for those of you, I had a bunch of students ask me, where can we learn more? I was pointing to my YouTube, and there are like 80-90 hours of weekly Wednesday in there. You can just take every one of the URLs or whatever is interesting for you, and it will just give a nice summary, and you can talk to it and you can chat with it, and Bud will do that for you. You should try that. Okay, so let me go back to what else is there. And there's a bunch of events and calls, guys. I need to get to that. One of the amazing things, so the audio watermarking, I think I told you about the launch stuff, a bunch of reading material. So everything that you're seeing here is going to show up in the newsletter, bit.ly/Jamthe newsletter. So I'm actually seeing some comment maybe. Okay, ask a question. Yes. Nitin, thank you for the comment. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer any question, guys. Uh, Thank you, and at least thank you for the, you love the post. Thank you so much. if you are if you have a question or you want to introduce yourself, tell us what you're working on, and that'll be awesome. Or if you have a question, that'll be good. Or tag a friend if you think this is useful, they can come and watch later. So what I'm going to do is, I've been so excited about all the things that are out to play in the tech world, except Rufus. I didn't get access to Rufus, so chop chop. I hope Amazon is listening and gives me access. But they're giving it to lot of their users in a scaled manner, so it's not individual. So I don't know when I'm going to get that, but when I get it, I'm going to play with it, break it, and see how it is done. I'm going to bring a review for you, so we'll see. But in the meantime, so those of you who are working with RAG, tell me what your experiences and challenges are. What are you using? I found that IBM Watson, I've shown IBM Watson in my no code AI class as a tool for building no code for machine learning models. And Watson X has integrated RAG and has their own implementation. So I think it must be available in most of the other cloud players. I've not played with that, so I'm going to go check that out. So talk to me if that is the case. And then one of the big news was there is the EU AI Act that has been in the works for a very, very long time. And that ended up being approved by all EU companies. So I'm going to add a link to that. There is matriarchal design futures, which is a beautiful piece of writing that you should check it out. I'm going to put all that. So bit.ly/Jamthe newsletter. See, I went to write a comment in the chat. Um, and then I got distracted because there's a lot of shiny objects. So let me come back. Okay. I see a question, Nitin. I will answer that in 1 second. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the newsletter. So all links shared here will be at my newsletter. Jamthe newsletter, bit.ly/Jamthe newsletter that goes out. Thank you, Paria for Sarin for doing this. It'll go out on Mondays. So now to answer your question, Nitin, I was using bard.google.com, which is a chat-based AI tool from Google. And that's what I was showing, the three owl and the donkey and the stuff. Okay, so if there's any other question, if I'm missing, or if you want answers, I'm happy to provide answers, fetch answers, find answers, or come back and get you the answers if I don't know the answer. I told you I make a list of what I don't know. So your question might be the one that joyfully makes me feel ignorant by end of the day today. So please ask me a tough question. I love you for that. Okay, so the other thing is there is HeyGen did like a real-time AI voice translation at World Economic Forum Davos. It is powered by Gemini. Gemini is the latest from Google. Says Gemini's nano model. I've not had a chance to try HeyGen, but I did play with couple different tools that will allow you to add a not a live translation, but while you're watching a video, it will give a translation in a different language. There are a couple different tools out there. That's very interesting. And then in terms of the call, I saw this post from Dr. Fifili saying that there is going to be a call for more research resources as a pilot. And then voila, just now, while I was getting ready for SudhaLive with you, I saw the call has at least the notice for the call has gone out. Let me share the screen so you know what I'm talking about. So one of the things that stops brilliant people from their research work, especially in the LLM generative AI world, is compute resources. And so Dr. Fifi Lee has spearheaded this to get our government here. This is from NSF. It's called I don't know what this NAIRR. Oh, it's National Artificial Intelligence Research Resource Pilot. That's what it is. So what they're basically saying, this has to do something with making AI safe, secure, and trustworthy. And if that is the theme of your research and you want computational resource, you can get computational resource from any of these government organizations, supercomputing application, National Center for Supercomputing applications, Texas Advanced Computing Center, all of these have supercomputing power, and you can choose one, or you say I don't have a preference, just give me any of them, and you can submit and talk about what your research is. The call will officially go out, did go out on Jan 24th, and is open till March 1st. And so this is what it is. So I believe it is for US only. I don't know, it did not explicitly say that, but since it is showing US government organizations, that's my assumption. So somebody tell me if that's not true, and you can submit for the call. So that's a very big thing, why compute resources are very, very important. Okay, now question for you, since you're not asking me too many questions. Why are computer resources very big deal for the LLM world? If you're working with generative AI and LLM and I want to make them trustworthy, accountable, safe, stop cybersecurity attacks from happening, and I'm doing some research, why do I need intensive computer research to go apply for a grant for that? What do you think is the reason specifically? I want a very pointed answer. Somebody talk to me, tell me, if you're, especially because I hear from many people who are trying a lot of RAG applications and they say we got stuck. Because let me say one thing, in a very practical perspective, if you're going to say I'm going to use OpenAI Playground and I paid my $20 and I got a membership, you have a cost for the tokens and you have a limit. And all these different chatbots, even Latimer is allowing me 10 chats in a month. Thank God, before I came talk to you, it is the new month of Feb. So the last week when I was chatting with it, I finished my 10 chats. Now I've already done 3 chats. So because they are all calling an API on the back end to an LLM that is hosted by a company which has spent a lot of compute time and resources, so they're charging them by the token. And so unlike every other past technology, this is not just a cost in training. It's a lot of cost in training. It's also a cost in inference as in production version when you're using it. So I cannot just put my book out and say hello people, talk to it, which I keep saying every time I'm going to do it. But how will I do it in a cost effective way? Because every time you chat with my book to say what is generative AI, how many parameters does ChatGPT have, or anything else, it's going to cost me. So how would I cap it? And that's a problem for enterprise, right? So that is one. But I'm trying to get to the my question. I'm asking you that question because why is it that an issue? Why is there a resource, compute resource specifically for LLM, from the from how the LLM is built, how it was trained, what is the reason why there is a cost for it? It's not that the companies are charging us. Why are they charging us? There's a cost for the company, that the company is trying to pass that cost on to us. Why is there a cost? So if you build a piece of software, if I'm using Microsoft yeah, Outlook, and now they're saying, hey, we'll give you Outlook hosted on the web and pay me $10 a month. That's okay. They're hosting, there's a hosting cost, and then there's value for what they're giving me. So they're charging me $10. But every time I'm using it, if it is going to cost them $100, they'll charge me $100 exponentially if it is costing. But for them, it's a piece of software. Once they've done it, they put it. It's just the hosting cloud and that cost, right? That's not exponential. But with the LLM, it is very exponential. Why is it? What is in the brain of the LLM that makes it very, very, very expensive in terms of compute power? What do you think is the reason? So for those of you here who sent all the love and the claps, I have a question for you. Can you tell me why are LLMs more compute intensive? What is the reason in their architecture? Every time you hear about the LLM, I'll give you a clue. When you hear about LLMs, they say, "Oh, ChatGPT has 1.75 trillion parameters," or BERT had 340 million parameters. Now the latest is 7 billion. Mistral has 7 billion. Llama has 7 billion. Everything has like a latest one is 7 billion parameters. Why is it? That is the clue. Why? How is that costing us to compute power? So if I showed you from Baba AI, they have this Gajendra AI yeah, that is a fine-tuned model. To build that, it would have cost them hell a lot of compute power. And they've used Mistral 7B. Now, why? Because of the parameters. Why would the parameters, so many parameters in the LLM, why would it cost us um, compute power? So let's take a step back. What are these parameters? When they say 7 billion parameters, so many million parameters, that LLM has this many parameters. What are these parameters? Anybody who has been building any kind of model with machine learning or anything would be able to answer that question. I will definitely give, yes, I will give you the answer. I won't go home today and switch off before I give you the answer. I will give you the answer, but please take just make an attempt to tell me, is there a, what is the reason why these models have a gazillion parameters, but why is that costing us compute time? And why did Dr. Fifi Lee has to go out of her way to get us to get us a whole research grant to make that happen? What is the reason? Um, okay, while you're thinking about it, so my question is, why is it costing us compute power to, go build something with LLMs? That's the question. Should I put it out on the chat? Why are LLMs um, costing us large compute resources? Okay, so that's a question. So talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Tell me what you think about it. Meantime, I'm going to quickly zip through a bunch of events that is coming up that I don't want you to miss, and then there's a bunch of calls. I can't even do justice to all of it, so they're going to go up in the newsletter. But there is a call from uh, um, AI for AI 4D Africa, uh, called Building a Just AI Ecosystem in Africa. RA is Just AI project, and there's a call for it. They just want a quick abstract of 750 words. The deadline is March 8th. I'll put it in the newsletter. UNESCO has a call for emerging good practices of using Gen AI in education. I think I shared that last week too. Uh, on Feb 3rd, that's tomorrow, Cecilia Mozetam is doing a keynote at Bangkok Design Week 2024. Tom Mitchell is doing a beautiful talk, and Tom Mitchell is a pioneer. He's the first professor. He's the first professor who created a machine learning department in a large university. He's actually coming, and there's also it's in Stanford, and you can watch it online. Also, he's doing a 4 trends in generative AI, and he's speaking at the Stanford Digital Economy Lab. Irene Cheng is going to be the keynote at Women in AI Symposium 2024. I think it is from Women in AI Canada, if I remember right. Dr. Brenna Clark is doing this Feminist and Accessible Publishing Communication Tech series. I love the title of this. It said every technology was somebody's choice. You know how you work in technology industry and you realize that nothing happens accidentally. Nobody's allowed to just build something and put it out. You can build anything, but if you're going to go put it out from any company, there is going to be it's going to be productized, it is going to be QA'd, there is going to be legal. If it is big enough, it's going to have the whole launch team. Even if it is small, you just can't go and update something on a website. You just cannot create a new version of a mobile app. There's a lot of process and people involved. So if technology does something evil, malicious, it's not unintentional. Somebody conceived of it, but a whole bunch of people were indifferent about it, didn't care, were afraid to speak up, or were equally malicious to get it out. So I love the title of this. So when we're talking about AI ethics is not just something that happens accidentally. So I like that. And then I believe Adobe is doing like a roadshow with their Creative Vision Tour, it's called, and they are coming to San Francisco on Feb 15th. There's a lot more. I think they're also going to Texas and other places. It's coming up in future weeks. I'll share that as we get closer. So I think those are the events and calls that I have for you guys. Rest of it, I believe I will put it out on the newsletter for you. Okay. So do you want the answer for why it costs compute time before I go home so that you get the answer? Is anybody taking a step? So the question was, it costs compute time for you to build with LLMs. If you want to use LLMs and the APIs out there, it's going to cost you compute time. My question was, why is it costing compute time? Yes, they're charging you, but why are they charging you? What is in the architecture of it that makes you need the call, right? That was the question. And the answer to that, I am going to show you visually, because I've been in this mood talking to my students. So I'm not just going to just talk. I've been doing a lot of talking. I'm going to show this visually before I close out. Uh, okay. And I like to share all the cool toys that I find, guys. So this is the latest cool toy that I was playing with as of this morning. So this is called playground.tensorflow.org, and it explains what is a neural network. Simple. So it basically, you can go here, pick one of the four options. I'm not going to click because this is a beautiful solution I've got and I'm not going to mess it up. So you can pick, I've picked this one, which was my input data, and it's building a classification of blue dots and orange dots. And now here is training data, one of them. Here is the other training data. These are the two training data. Now it is going through multiple neurons, one neuron, the second neuron, this is the learning, this is the third neuron, then it goes, this is, and then this is the hidden layer, and then it comes, there is another uh, two neurons, and then it comes to the training. And so you can keep adding hidden layers, and I've used relu for activation. So you can actually try adding, you start with nothing and it'll be linear. So what you input will be what will be output, because there is nothing in the middle, right? So you take an input and you say, okay, here's the output, right? Because the model didn't do anything. Now if you add one neuron, it will change it a little bit. But what we are up, and then every time you change anything, you do a run, and this ran for like 6 minutes. And my goal is to optimize to bring the loss to a zero. So it brought the loss to a zero. And it, so basically any data set that you give to AI model is going to, this is in training, when in training, right? What it is doing is it is creating learning in multiple layers in all these neurons. Then it creates a mathematical formula on how it organizes it. So now it can actually classify the blue dots from the orange dots, and no orange dots are left behind, which means my loss is zero. That's what I'm optimizing for. And so as a game, I could play this and figure out, explain to my students how a neural network works in its brain, and the neurons and the hidden layers and all that. Isn't that fabulous? So how is that relevant to our LLM? Because our LLMs, large language models, are nothing but neural networks. And in their brain, when they say parameters, it has weights and biases at each neuron that adds up to the many, many million, billion, 7 billion parameters. So now when you're asking the neural network to do something, it's going to go into its brain of so many parameters and fetch you the answer. So every time you're talking to Bard or ChatGPT to fetch that next word, it is going through a lot of compute. To do a training, now when they did that with the Hindi language and they said we are going to train on top of Mistral 7B, they take that, they did this intensive amount of training, and it cost them compute time. So it costs you compute time because the architecture of LLM is a neural network with many, many billions and millions of parameters. So to process through that, it is going to cost you compute time. It costs them compute time in pre-training when they build the model. It's going to cost you compute time in training when you're going to do fine tuning, or you're going to do RAG and you're going to build something with it. The modeling you're going to do with your enterprise data or your language data. And it is going to cost you compute time when you're going to run it in inference, saying, I am ready for production. Latimer, come talk to me. ChatGPT, come talk to me. Here is the Rufus chatbot, come talk to me. Everything in production is still going to cost compute time. So that is the reason it costs compute time. So now I've given you the answer. So I'm ready to go home, call it a day. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around with me. So this recording, weekly wed, that happens on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. here, Silicon Valley time, but it's open to everybody globally. And all the links that I shared, everything would also be on online. And before I go, I have a ask for you. I've already asked you many things. I was asking about RAG, I was asking about Rufus and other things, but I have one more. You remember Teachable Machine, which is a no-code AI platform that I use for many of my classes. I try to use that and do something to do some audio training. I was basically saying, can Teachable Machine do a training, do a classification model using, let me find that. Why is it so hard to find my own windows today? Okay, I'm back. Maximize that window. Maybe I should be able to get to it. Okay. So what I ended up doing is Teachable Machine is a no-code AI platform that I use for my classes, and I've usually done dog versus mop and stuff that are images. And this week I played with it to do uh, classification of audio clips. So here is a dog barking, and I extracted that. Here is my own voice. I extracted some sample. They also made me record my background noise so they could filter it off. And then I just clicked and I trained the model, and it built the model here. So this is what I did. And for those of you who know to use TensorFlow, you can actually download the whole model from here. Or if you don't want to download the model, you can basically upload the model into a shareable link, and then you can use that link, and you'll just get the inference. So this is how I use it. The reason I'm sharing with you is if you're working on a sound or audio ML, which is this is basically a neural network. It is doing machine learning to do the classification, and you can see as I'm talking, it hears my voice and it shows up in purple saying human saying hello. That's the class here. For some reason, when I'm talking, it hears a little bit of it thinks maybe it's a dog barking. 2%, 5%, not bad. I'm not as offended about it. But it is, for the most part, this is working very beautifully. I'm very, very pleased with this. So if you are working identifying sound and any kind of audio related work for machine learning, I want to hear from you. How do you do it? What do you use to do that? And what kind of things are you doing with that? So talk to me. That could be add to my list of things I don't know, and I'll be thanking you for that. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. And here we've had very crazy atmospheric river weather pattern. It's kind of gone away from Northern California, but Southern California is impacted. So for those of you who are having, bad weather, and for people in LA region with this, please stay safe. And I will see you at Weekly Wed on Wednesday. And I will see you at SudhaLive next Friday. And I'm sure I'm going to be chatting with you online in some form. Okay. And if you want to talk to me when you get the newsletter, you can actually reply back for all the questions that I've been asking you. You can come and post a comment on the LinkedIn. If you're watching on the LinkedIn, that's where you're hearing this. Or you can just reply back on the newsletter. And I would love to hear from you. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe. And I will see you soon. Bye. Gonna stop the live stream first. And if you're watching this later, you can always add a question. I will come back and I will just poke around and see if there are new questions, and I will